Hi there, I'm Kate, and today I'm going to show you how your watch can keep an eye on your heart.
And I'm Rick Yaeger from MacMurk.com, and today I'm bringing the lab in 3D.
Oh, I have to wear these.
Yeah.
Aren't they just the cutest things? Hello, how are you? Good to see you, and welcome to the lab with Leo. I like that.
Aren't they
I love
so
that.
cool?
Isn't that great? Rick Yaeger made those for us. Isn't he good? Hello, Kate. How are you? Kate Abraham, ladies and gentlemen, the keeper of the clipboard, matching clipboard, I might say. And we have a great show for you. This is episode 76. 76 episodes.
I know.
That's a lot of work.
I feel like I'm aging as I'm sat here.
You never thought you'd been here for 76 episodes.
I know, eh?
And you know what? You're so comfortable now. And I'm not gonna, I didn't say anything at the beginning, but you were a little nervous when you first started doing this.
I was freaking out at the beginning.
It didn't show. It didn't show. But you're now you're wearing weird glasses.
I know. I'll be dancing before I know it.
Coming up in just a little bit, we got some great callers. Our guests, too, are fantastic. Michael Kenchington is going to talk about remote controls. Yes. You saw Rick Yaeger. He's going to do, this is kind of interesting. So you can use Photoshop, I didn't know this, and take 2D photos and make them three-dimensional.
Absolutely.
Wow. You've got our Facebook app of the day and a bunch of wristwatches. Actually, I'm very curious in these. I wear a polar heart monitor every time I exercise on the recommendation of my trainer. He doesn't want me to die on him. He goes he says, "Where are you now? Where are you now? You okay? Are you living?" So, but they have some new ones I'm very interested in. I actually love it. It's a great way to exercise because you kind of know where you are.
Exactly, and you watch the calories tick down.
Have you been wearing these as you exercise?
I have, actually, walking to and from work.
Yeah.
And I worked out how many calories I thought I burned far more calories than I actually do. I'm like 60 calories.
60.
It's not even a Mars bar.
Nothing.
But yes, but they're really cool. They're really cool. Very interesting. Some really cool features.
Can't wait to see those. That'll be fun. Let's get our callers on, though. We got a number of great callers. Who's our first one?
We have Chad, and he is from Spruce Grove in Alberta.
All right. Hey, Chad, how are you today?
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm very well. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm putting together a home theater.
Okay.
And I've picked out a few of my components.
Great.
And but I'm on the fence with a couple of them.
Okay. I'm here. We've got Michael here as well. We can help you plan your home theater. Before you go any further, let me just ask you a little bit about your home theater. Is this going to be really a home theater where it's a room dedicated to it, darkened and all that, or is this going to be the living room?
Kind of half and half.
Half and half. Okay. Okay. Well, what are your questions?
Just trying to decide what type of TV to go with.
Yeah.
LCD or plasma.
That's kind of like one of the number one questions. There's two questions people really ask a lot now. LCD plasma, HD DVD, or Blu-ray. Those are like the choices you have to make. The rest of it kind of falls into place. I mean, you start getting into details of brand and so forth. The rule of thumb on LCD and plasma is pretty simple. Both of these, I think, look great. They're direct view, which means just like your LCD screen on your computer, you're looking at the image as generated by the panel, as opposed to projections, which either project forward or project from behind onto a screen. And they give you the sharpest, brightest images. They're also digital, both of them, which is great. It means for every pixel in the movie, there's a pixel on the screen. It's a one-to-one relationship. It's much crisper that way. Plasma's advantage is that I think it's got better blacks, it's better looking, it's a great looking screen, but it likes to be in a darkened room. You won't find plasma looks as good in a living room if the drapes are open. So it's not great if you want to watch daytime TV, sporting events. It's your living room TV. It's great for a real home theater where you're going to really focus on the movie and darken it down. The other downside to plasma is it's more expensive per square inch. LCD, brighter. So it's going to give you a great image for the living room. I mean, they look good. The blacks aren't quite as dark. The contrast ratios aren't quite as high. So it's, and some people complain on LCD that they're not as fast as responsive. So that if you're looking at action movies or sports, the LCD might get a little ghosting or blurry. It can't quite keep up. And that's because it's not as fast turning the pixels on and off. So that's just kind of the rule of thumb. Does that kind of help you there, Chad?
Yeah, it does.
Are you going to be able to darken this room?
At night.
At night.
Yeah.
Yeah. LCD's more expensive per square. Actually, LCD's more expensive than plasma per square inch. What I got and I really liked, and I actually recommended, is the Pioneer plasmas. I think they're just gorgeous, and the prices have fallen considerably. That's great for like home theater, right? 50 or 60 inch, depending on how far back you're going to be sitting. It just looks like a movie screen. It's fantastic. And then in my living room, I have a Sharp Aquos. And I'm very happy with that. I think that that's an excellent looking LCD display. It's a little smaller. That's kind of for, you know, CNN and Oprah. Any other questions?
Yeah, like you mentioned before, HD, DVD, or Blu-ray.
You're also deciding on that, huh?
Yeah.
You know, right now I would wait. I think what we're going to see is precipitous price drops for both. In fact, we're already seeing really big price drops for HD DVD. Toshiba's new HD DVD player, the HD, is it the A2? Is down to like in US $300. I mean, it's really falling. Blu-ray's got to follow. They haven't yet, but they will. And I suspect maybe even by the holidays, you'll see them in the sub $200 price range. When they get below $200, then you could buy both. The question is, I mean, the real issue is if you buy HD DVD, great, you got all the Universal movies, but no Disney movies. So you can watch The Matrix, but you can't watch Casino Royale. You get Blu-ray, vice versa, right? And that's crazy. The Hollywood studios have decided we're going to go, you know, some we're going to go this, some we're going to that. Blu-ray, I think, is starting to pull ahead for a couple of reasons. One, Blockbuster, the major movie rental store in the States, has decided to only carry Blu-ray. Yikes. And Target stores, in their stores, they're going to sell both online, but in their stores, they're going to focus heavily on Blu-ray. So Blu-ray may start to pull ahead, I think, also with the sales of the going up on the Sony PlayStation 3. But you don't want to bet on that race. You don't want to get involved in that. So my suggestion to you is just wait. There are hybrid players now. They're ridiculously expensive. It'd be cheaper to buy two players than one hybrid LG. I think in the long run, you're going to end up getting both, but wait till they're cheap enough that it's not real painful. You know, if you're spending $3,000 on a set, spending another $400 on two DVD players isn't too bad. It's not the end of the world. Okay?
All right.
And by the way, I bought HD DVD because I like The Matrix. The movies, I just looked at what movies are available and I said, well, the movies I want to see are mostly on HD DVD. My kids are too grown for Disney. I don't care about that so much. I can live without Casino Royale. BBC Planet's on both, so that's okay. All right, Chad?
All right.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Come up. I'll ask, actually, Michael Kenchington. He is our home theater expert. He is here in just a bit. We'll find out what he thinks about both of these and talk about some high-tech remote controls when the lab continues. You stay right here. Welcome back to the Lab with Leo, and it's time to talk about home theater. Michael Kenchington is back. He is with Sound Plus. Hey, Michael. Good
Hi.
to see you. So before we get to these remotes, and they're looking swell, our last caller, Chad, you probably get that question a lot. They come into the store and say, okay, LCD or plasma?
Oh, yes.
And you said something interesting. You said gaming is best on LCD.
Gaming tends to be best on LCD, and we're also seeing a lot of the manufacturers, Samsung and Sharp, adding gaming modes to their televisions.
And what does that mean? What is that?
Essentially, they're optimizing the image for gaming, color rendering, and
They make a bright pop.
yeah,
colors.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Now, actually, we have our Xbox 360 hooked up to the plasma, but it looks good on either one. So the plasma is just a little bit bigger. So my son says,
Exactly.
"Can I play on the 50?" Yes, you can. Now, one of the keys, of course, once you get a beautiful home theater going, is having a remote control so that you can access all this stuff. I mean, many people have satellite or cable tuners. They got AV tuners. They've got all sorts of stuff coming into DVDs and all this coming into one thing, and it's hard to control it. You don't want 15 remotes. So these are universal remotes, all of them?
Exactly. My experiences show that in every household you can buy all the great technologies, all the great equipment, but if you can't operate
Can't use it.
Yeah, ultimately it's
point.
pretty useless.
Yeah. These are the kinds of things that integrators would use, right? These are high-end.
Well, depends on the client. Some clients like to program their own remotes.
Really?
The average consumer likes to, put a piece of software on their computer
Right.
and program their own.
Harmonies are good for that, right?
Harmonies are great for that.
Yeah.
Some of the Philips Prontos are quite good for that. This allows the integrator to
pro.
exactly
Right.
to make life easy for the family.
the rich family. Let's start over here. This isn't so bad. This is from RCI?
From RTI.
RTI,
yeah.
okay.
This is the T2C.
That's really pretty. I like that. Yeah.
Very nice.
Keep it in the shot, though.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. What you'll find is essentially the remote would get programmed based on the activity, not the components. It's what you have.
That's
what
like
you do,
the Harmony, too. You say, I want to
Exactly.
watch Oprah, press a button, and then it does all the right switches.
Exactly.
Because that's really all anybody wants. They don't want to know how to turn everything off. No.
Exactly.
So this will all be pre-programmed?
That's right, and it works completely on radio frequency. So the components can be in another room or another floor in the house, and this, with an antenna, will control all of the other devices.
So most remotes, the ones that come with your TV, are infrared.
Correct.
And they have to have line of sight.
Line of sight, yeah.
So many people don't want to have all of those components sitting there next to their TV. It just looks ugly.
Exactly.
So you'll find people put them in the closet, in the basement, and this will still work with
Yeah, and especially here in Vancouver with all the condos, there isn't a lot of space to have a DVD player and a cable box that's on in each room. We have one central location, and this allows us to control from one
Very
central
cool.
place.
So that's RF, and that's a good thing to look
Radio
for if you want to do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
What's this next one? This looks like a wall unit.
This is virtually the same as this one, but it's designed to go inside of a wall. Again, we watch television, we listen to music in our kitchens, in our bedrooms, and this would just simply go in the wall and will allow you to look exactly like the first remote.
Wow, that's neat. So it's like a thermostat. But it'll actually control this thing, and that way you can have one in every room, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. Of course, you have to get up out of the chair. That's the drawback.
Well, and then you have this one for that.
Now, what if you're in the hot tub? You don't want to get up out of the hot tub, right?
Of course not.
Look at this.
This is our most popular remote for outdoors. Why we like it is, it's
rubber.
It's -2 outside, and you're in your hot tub. The last thing you want to do to change the volume or change your source is get out of the hot
That's
tub.
funny.
So it's waterproof. It's also great for steam showers and baths and so on.
I hate it when I have to change the channel from the shower, and I don't. I always want to have the remote. I want to have to get out. So let me ask you a question: do a lot of people put TVs in their hot tubs nowadays?
Yeah.
That's very common.
Yeah. We see the odd one coming
Isn't that
through
funny?
in bathrooms and
That I understand.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Now this is a little fancier. This is a charger dock here, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. The idea behind this is that you can have more information on a single page. So
wow, look at that. Wow. I'm gonna tilt it back so you can do it upside down. Let's
Absolutely.
watch.
Okay.
Let's see if you can do it upside down, folks. And
so
backwards.
you simply define what you want to do, whether it's
This is music in
control
this case,
lighting.
yeah?
Yeah. So if you wanted to watch a DVD, you hit.
Oh, there it is.
And now it
Okay.
turns into a DVD player remote.
And that's pretty easy for people to understand because it looks like what it's doing. You can see play. This is the jog wheel and all of that. That's very cool.
You'll see no buttons that you don't need. On the page.
Yeah, that makes it very simple. And how do I get back? I just press menu to
Well,
go
you
back.
go to home.
Oh, that's
and
easy
you're
enough.
back in your home.
MP3 server,
Yeah.
CD changer, XM satellite radio. I mean, look at all the and this
Lighting,
obviously can
heating.
be. This can all be. Wait a minute, lighting and heating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you would
very
control
important.
your lighting here as well.
Imagine this: you're sitting in your theater, you're watching a movie
Oh,
with
yeah.
the projector, and you forgot to turn the lights off.
So I got to press the movie button, and then everything goes down. The curtain goes open.
Exactly. Yeah,
I like this. That's really cool. Now this is even fancier. This is from Crestron.
That's right.
Tell me about this one.
Sure. Crestron is a leader in integration systems.
How much, by the way? We haven't talked about prices at all.
Okay. This is about an $800 US remote.
Okay.
This is about the same amount.
Okay.
$400.
Okay.
This is a little more fancy. It's about $2,400.
Okay.
And this one here, the remote itself is about $5,000.
Oh.
And then, but it's part of a bigger picture.
Right. You're buying a $20,000 home theater. Maybe $50,000 home.
Maybe even larger, yes.
Maybe $150,000. Then this is nothing. $5,000. But let's see what it can do based on all of that.
Well, in this case,
this thing is amazing.
This gives you a snapshot of your entire house. So, for
security's
example,
on here.
Security can be lighting. So, for example, here we've pulled up lighting. Imagine this being your house.
Wow.
You can actually pull up a floor plan, see where the lights are on.
Again, the
or off.
integrator is going to set this all up for you. This is not something a home user would set up.
No,
Look at that.
exactly.
And it has feedback. This is using Wi-Fi, so it has feedback to the device.
This is communicating directly with the lighting control system, your audio system, so that when you actually select the command, you know what's happening.
Wow.
Because the remote is indicating that it's occurring at that time.
I see voice conferencing. Mm-hmm. You can even run applications. It looks like it's a Windows device.
You bet. So if you wanted to do Word applications, Internet Explorer,
it's Windows.
Skype, text messaging, absolutely.
Well, no wonder it's so expensive. It's a computer.
Exactly.
It's hooked up, and I don't know if people can see it, but behind us here, that's the actual box that it's displaying.
The processor.
The processor. And
Yes.
that's via Wi-Fi, so there's a Wi-Fi adapter on that.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, that's very cool. Well, no wonder it's so expensive. This thing does everything.
And it's completely secure, too, in that there's also a biometric scanner on there.
There's a thumb scanner on it.
Yeah,
So I can't use it unless I log in. And the kids, if they want to log in, no.
No. Exactly. You can lock them right out.
Dads. Very interesting. Mike Kenchington is sales representative at Sound Plus. I'm sure you can buy all this stuff at Sound Plus. RTI for these, and then Crestron for this. Very interesting. If you want to find out more, go to our website, thelabwithleo.com, and we've got all the links to all the companies. Now it's time to play What the Talk. Let's get a close-up shot of something you find around the lab. See, Sean's teasing us now. He's giving us information that's completely useless. I see sink, but I don't know what it is. Think about it. We'll zoom out and find out when the lab continues. Stay right here. There it is. It's a mystery. I know we can sync with it, but what is it? Let's zoom out. I gotta find it. It's a Nintendo Wii. Oh man. Why is there a sync button on there?
Sync the remotes.
Oh. Right? Yeah, I should have known that. Okay, thank you. That's not the Wiimote, that's the Wii. You can't do that with a Wii, can you? Let's get another caller on. We've got the lovely Kate Abraham with another caller for us. Hello, Kate.
I love Wiis, by the way.
Have you been Wiiing?
I actually pulled a muscle with the Wii.
Did you really?
I took a couple of days off work.
Bowling? No, you took time off work because of a Wii injury?
Yeah, I actually ended up with terminal 3s. So children, be careful with your Wii.
Yeah, unless you want time off from work to play more Wii.
Exactly. And then go left-handed. But our next caller is Larry from Wingham in Ontario, and he's on Skype.
Hey, Larry, how are you? Thank you, Kate.
Hello, Leo. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Good to see you.
Good stuff, good stuff.
What can I do for you today?
First off, I wanted to say that I really enjoy your show.
Thank you very much.
I'm watching it now for about 6 years. When
Wow.
I can. So,
That's about as long as, let's see, well, no, I started doing it in 98.
Yeah.
So I don't know when we started in Canada, probably shortly after that. So, yeah, that's about as long as you could watch it, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. What can I do for you?
Okay, I have a question here. I sent you guys an email, like your show an email, with regards to, I was in the process of getting a new home computer.
Excellent.
Now, I do have a home computer now.
Yep.
And I did purchase it. Now, Windows Vista Premium is installed on it. What I'm wondering, I'm not really happy with Windows Vista Premium.
You want to go back?
I want to go back to XP Pro.
Okay.
I do have a copy of XP Pro, and I'm just wondering, will I be able to install it on my new system without having to go through the
you probably have to activate it. Where did you get this copy? Is it a copy from a store? Is it from an existing PC?
It's a copy right directly from Windows. It's.
You bought it from Microsoft?
Yes.
Okay. Has it ever been used?
Yes, it has been.
Okay.
I installed it on my old system.
But you're not going to use it anymore?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So what you'll do is you'll install it. And if you had bought it with a new machine, you know, it was what we call an OEM copy, a copy of Windows that came with a new machine, you're stuck. It'll only be workable on that machine. But because you bought it standalone off the shelf from Microsoft, and you are now putting that old machine out of commission, and you're going to put it on a new machine, you should be able to activate it. Now, you might have to call Microsoft. In fact, I think you will probably have to call Microsoft to explain what's going on. And at that point, they'll give you an activation code. But you could try it anyway, and it might just activate. What it does, the way this activation, it's so annoying. It's an anti-piracy measure. And it's ironic because, frankly, I would bet 90%, maybe more, of all copies of Windows come with a new machine. So it's not like a lot of people are getting bare machines and installing XP on it. You already bought, for instance, a copy of Vista. You want to go back. It's not like Microsoft's losing money on you. They're making money on you. Nevertheless, they have this anti-piracy measure called activation. What it does is it does basically an inventory of the hardware on your machine. And then calls Microsoft, does this all over the internet, and says, okay, this is the inventory. It actually creates a number based on the inventory, but this is the inventory. This is the copy of Windows, and then Microsoft sends back an activation code. If you try to take that same copy and activate it on a machine where the database of the inventory of hardware is different, most of the time, the first time you can probably get away with it. Most of the time, though, it'll call Microsoft, and Microsoft will say, no, you can't activate this. It's a different machine. They're trying to keep you from activating Windows on multiple machines. So if that does happen, and it's about 50-50 that it will, if it does happen, though, a simple call to Microsoft saying this is a off-the-shelf, full copy of retail copy of Windows. I had it on another machine. I have decommissioned that machine. I'm moving it over to another one. They will give you an activation code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and now you could create a dual boot Windows XP and Vista. It's a lot of work. I'm not sure I recommend it, but we will put the information in the show notes should you choose to keep Vista around, just kind of because you already got it. And of course, you can always go back to Vista because you do have the original. Make sure you have those original restore discs before you do this, right, from the new machine. Mm-hmm. I suspect in the long run you'll want to go to Vista. Right now, Vista is a little painful because there's a lot of hardware and software incompatibilities, but that's not going to last very long. Microsoft wants everybody to go to Vista. They want all hardware and software manufacturers to upgrade so they're compatible with Vista. In a few months, everybody's going to be Vista. XP is going to start to look like the old operating system, and then in a few years, probably, we don't know exactly when. Microsoft said they'll keep it going through the rest of the decade. I don't know if that's the case. In a few years, you'll stop seeing updates for XP, and at that point, you really do need to go to Vista, just as you cannot continue to run 98. It's just not safe. You have to upgrade. It's the way Microsoft has of pushing you into the 21st century. So, but right now, I think XP is still the choice for most people. I think it's perfectly reasonable, and that's how you do it.
Good stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. You ready for a gadget? Sean Carruthers is here with our gadget of the day. Ooh, it's pretty.
I'm always ready for a gadget.
What is this? This is a floating mouse?
It's a floating mouse. Actually, that's just the charge stand. I wish it was 3D. Apparently, Logitech has a 3D mouse coming, but right now we're stuck with the Revolution.
This is the Revolution. It looks very cool. Now, I'm a lefty, so that's not going to be an ideal for me.
No, that's the one thing I don't like about it is it's definitely designed for people with right hands.
It's a right-handed mouse.
So it's okay for me.
But look how nicely it fits with a little thumb rest on there. It's got a scroll wheel or something here. It's got buttons here. Tell me about it. What does all this stuff do?
Well, as with all of these mice with multiple buttons.
4, 5, 6, 7 buttons.
You can program these things to do various things, but the real killer feature here on this one is this top button. Now we've got, on my screen here, we've got...
it's scrolling.
My things. So it's scrolling.
That's what you'd expect. That's a scroll wheel.
Very ratchet. But just push it in. And it goes into, it removes the clutch, and now you can just fling it down.
You better do it.
Okay, so
my clutching is not.
You push it down, and then away you go.
Oh, you're already at the bottom.
Yeah, we need to.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it rolls.
And then when you're done, you just stop it.
Oh, I like that. I don't know if people cannot. It's hard to understand at home, but if you, wow. Now we have a long page there.
Yeah,
most pages aren't that long. But that's almost like iPhone. And does it slow down or does it keep going? No,
it keeps going until you stop it.
You have to stop it. Wow, that's cool.
But it's very easy to use in long documents. I haven't really tried it in gaming, but I hope it would work for anything where you need to do long scrolls.
That's nice, yeah.
So very, very handy for long documents.
And this is cordless, which is nice.
It's cordless. It comes with this little dongle here.
So you don't have to have support for it automatically, like Bluetooth or something. You just put the dongle in there and it'll add that capability.
Right. Now, if you want to use all the other buttons, you'll have to set up Logitech's clients, so Windows, Mac.
It does work on the Mac as well?
It does work on the Mac, and I said that feature with the clutchless scrolling, that works without installing any software.
Right, because that's mechanical, I guess.
That is a mechanical thing,
yes. Look at that. That's really cool. And then it has other buttons to do, and you can program all of those.
Exactly.
Very cool. It's called what?
That's called the MX Revolution from Logitech.
Here's good points.
Yeah, wireless, sturdy, and ergonomic. It's about $99. So
not economic.
Not that economic, but the fast scrolling is great. And the one thing I really don't like is it's for righties only, unless you're willing to contort your hand.
Very cool. That's our gadget of the day. Sean Shinies. We take a look at a new gadget every day with Sean Carruthers. Thank you, Sean. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to make 3D images out of your 2D pictures. Rick Yaeger, the Mac Merc, is here. You stay right here, but right now, one more chance to play our quiz. Actually, our first chance. We haven't played it yet. Our first chance to ask this question. Who wrote the first graphical computer game? It was called Naughts and Crosses in 1952. Who wrote it? Was it A.S. Douglas, Ada Lovelace, Alan Turing, or William Henry Gates III? I think I know the answer to this one, only by a process of elimination. Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it a little later on as The Lab with Leo continues. Welcome back to The Lab. I'm Leo Laporte, and I've got these 3D glasses on. for a reason. No, not because I'm a doofus, but because he's got them on, and I want to make my guests feel at home and comfortable. Rick Yaeger's here from the Mac Merc at macmerc.com. He's a he is a
head rush on
he is a graphics professional and is going to show us how. You don't need these, though, do you?
You do once you're done.
So we're going to make this kind of red and blue 3D image out of a standard 2D image. Now, you've got a really good one for this because there's a foreground and a background.
Off the Lab with Leo's Flickr account.
That's I guess that means that Mr. Sean Carruthers took this. That's Dr. Tiki.
Dr. Tiki.
A Tiki bar, and there I am behind him.
Perfectly, it has multiple 3D levels.
You want multiple planes.
Planes that you can play with. And what I do to create this is I'm going to create a displacement map in Photoshop.
Oh, well, that's easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say, easy for me to show you.
Show me.
So
how?
You first select the individual planes themselves. So
okay, so you need to see that there are, what, 2 or 3 planes in here?
Oh, more like 5.
Yeah. But are we going to take all 5?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to go quick. So I would
His head would be plane 1?
Select his head. It can just be rough.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yep, and save it as an alpha channel.
Did you use the pen to make a mask?
I used the lousy old lasso tool.
Really? Okay. So it really doesn't have to be that perfect.
It's really quick and easy.
Okay. So there's head is plane 1. Body is another plane?
Plane 2.
Plane 2. So they don't have to be that far apart.
Nope.
Okay.
But you gotta have to have
my
a few
arms,
of them.
plane 3.
Arms in the camera.
And me, plane 4.
Body. And
now you got some of his cheek in there. Is that going to cause a problem?
Not going to cause a problem.
All right, good. So it really is. And then the TV behind me.
The pillar behind you.
That's the 5th plane. There's actually a 6th plane, which is the control room behind us, but we don't care about that.
So what I do is I start a new alpha channel, fill it with. Let me just.
Is an alpha channel just another layer of special kind of layer? Basically?
It's a special kind of it's an image layer.
So you create a new layer, but it's an alpha channel.
It's
layer.
an alpha channel.
Got it.
So I fill each selection going from back to front.
So there's an alpha for each mask.
For each one.
Okay.
Sorry.
And you go back to front.
Back to front.
You fill it with?
Filling with progressively darker colors.
Okay, so a light gray in the first one.
As I go.
And you can just do this by the percentage gray.
Right, and you got to kind of map it out before you do it so that you don't run out of darker colors.
Grays.
Yeah, and everything's black.
So you're going
in the
from
front.
white to black.
Light to black.
Okay.
And that's
so you had 5 shades there. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Wait a minute, we got one more for Dr. Tiki.
That's
6.
it.
Okay.
Then
so there's white, gray, darker gray.
Quick Gaussian blur of 10,
all of that.
10 pixels.
10 pixel Gaussian blur. So we now we've made basically this kind of weird grayscale image, and that's all in one alpha channel of those. Okay.
And we use a minimum filter, which expands the light areas, the whiteness gets encroached upon.
And you want a 10 pixel radius on that also?
10 pixel radius on that, you've got your displacement map.
And I'm so glad too, and I just think that's so handy.
And what a displacement map's going to do is you're going to copy it to your clipboard, create a new document. Photoshop automatically plugs in the width and height of that. So save it, paste this into the new document, save it out as a .psd file, a Photoshop
So we
file.
now have a 3D Tiki PSD. So it's a completely separate file from our original.
Right.
Got it.
And then the hard part's done.
Oh well.
Go back to your RGB image.
Okay.
If you watch, you click on the red channel.
Yeah. Okay. Red channel.
Have that selected, and then you click on the eye icon next to RGB.
Okay.
So you're looking at all the channels at the same time.
But red is selected.
Only affecting the red.
Okay.
Now we go to filter, distort, displace. And we only want to...
So displacement map is always a second image that you're using.
Right.
That's why we created that second image of grays.
And based on the tones in it, it'll displace a little bit more, a little bit less.
So you're going to do 20 pixels to the horizontal.
And nothing on the vertical. We want to shift it to the side
So
a bit.
you're going to shift the red. I'm getting it now. You're shifting the red 20 pixels to the right.
Yep. And I go off.
And we're going to do it based on this displacement that we made.
This displacement map I made over here.
Ooh.
Looks great.
Oh, now put on your glasses, ladies and gentlemen. I know you all, we've managed to send, I think, everyone who watches the show a pair of these. Wow, Dr. Tiki's leaping out at me.
He is, and you're taking a picture.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's how they do it.
That's
so they only do a red channel, they don't do a blue channel?
The blue and green channels
stay where they are.
Stay where they are. So
with my right eye, I see the original.
Right.
And the left eye, I'm 20 pixels to the left.
Exactly, with a little shift for depth.
And 20 pixels just happens to be, I guess, the distance that makes my eyes think that I'm looking at something.
You can adjust it depending on what your photo is, and the resolution of it.
Play with it a little bit.
But 20 pixels, if you go too much, you start to go cross.
The other thing that's very cool is when people see an image like that.
Yes.
They know what that is, because we've kind of all seen these 3D images. So you could use this for a graphics design, too. I mean, this would be kind of a fun thing to play with.
So I went through it pretty fast.
I like it.
But it's all in the show notes on thelabwithleo.com, as well as a second tutorial showing you how to take still pictures by moving the tripod over.
So you take real 3D images.
To take real 3D images.
Ooh, yeah, this is just a simulated. If you want to read more, go to thelabwithleo.com. And, of course, Rick is at macmerc.com, a great place to commune with other Mac users and to learn things like this.
And people confident enough to wear.
You made these.
Goofy eyewear, yeah.
I'm impressed.
Oh, you might also want to go on the Flickr link. We've got that on the show notes as well.
So you can get those images.
They've got a whole collection of these sort of images.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. On Flickr.
On Flickr,
that's neat.
Yeah.
All right, more to come in just a bit. The Lab with Leo continues with more of your calls right after this. Stay right here.
Hey there, welcome back to the Lab with Leo. I'm Kate Abraham, and now it's time for our Facebook app of the day. And today we're looking at photographs. Now, you know when you upload into your profile, but all they are is literally stuck on the corner, you want to make them bold, you want to make people notice them, we're going to look at this fantastic app called Slideshows. Now, Slideshows is super, super cool. All you need to do is literally, once you've uploaded a gallery into your profile page, you can literally check whether you want to do a slideshow, you can make it easy, you can add music. And then the really cool thing is you can add themes. So, for instance, here, I can add some classy glitter to me and Leo. Check that out. And you can also add backgrounds, you can add captions.
It's really pretty.
It's super easy to do. And the good thing is once you embed it onto your site, literally it can just roll through like this.
That's really cool.
And everybody can see what you're up to.
Now, that's taking the images that you have on Facebook, not like Flickr or somewhere else.
No, it's not. You have to actually, and that's the only problem with it. Like, obviously, if you upload to Flickr, then you have to separately upload to Facebook.
You know, Facebook has its own sharing and everything, and so I'm torn between whether you're using Flickr or Facebook. Flickr is more universal, so
that's the thing. I use both, which is completely redundant.
But you have to copy the photos over. But you know what? With a slideshow like that, that makes it kind of
cute, isn't it? And the thing is, it really kind of pulls the eye in as well, which is great.
I love it. Yeah.
So for more apps, go to facebook.com/apps.
Somebody, I have to find it. Put like over 500 apps on their page. It goes on and
crazy.
on.
But the thing is, it's so easy to do, and you forget about them, and you just minimize them, and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, I've got that one.
I have like 30 apps like that. They're just minimized. I really should start taking
Mine's
apps off.
work related. That's why.
The other thing is that when you take apps off, it puts it in your feed, right?
Yes.
And then so it's kind of like almost an announcement. I don't like this app.
I've snubbed Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of reluctant to take anything out. I don't want anybody to feel bad.
No, it's good.
Anyway, thank you, Kate. Those are great.
Worries. So
let's get another caller.
Yeah, we have Alan. He's from Parrsboro in Nova Scotia.
Look at that.
It's me and Amber hugging. Matt looking tired.
Sorry, Alan. We're getting distracted by our slideshow. Thank you, Kate.
Okay.
How are you today?
Not too badly. I'm still breathing above ground.
Well, that's a good sign. I love your hat. It said, "How the hell did I get this old?"
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And you're also wearing camo and you're in the bushes. So I don't know. This picture says a lot. I don't know what it says, but there's a lot going on in this picture. What can we do for you, Alan?
I watched your show one other night there, and you said about doing a test for your modem.
Yeah. Speedtest.net.
I'm on Dialup, and I'm only getting, I think it's 29 up and 19 down.
Right. And you're saying, hey, I have a 56K modem.
Yes.
Well, let me first of all go to speedtest.net and just show you, because this is the speed tester that I mentioned, and it is very cool. Sometimes information, though, is you regret getting this information, right?
Yeah.
So what you're getting is not unusual on modems. No 56K modem made will go 56 kilobits per second. They actually can't. So it's a misnomer to say 56K. I think the physical most they can go, theoretical fastest is around 50K. And in fact, the best I've ever seen is 44. So if you're getting 40 to 44, you're getting the fastest speed possible. Do you live in a pretty rural area, Alan?
Yeah, actually, I live just 12 kilometers from the exchange. And
there you go. So you're far enough from the exchange. A lot of times in rural areas, they'll overload the lines using multiplexing because they don't want to string too much copper out there. 12 kilometers of copper is a lot of copper.
Yeah.
At prices nowadays, that's a lot of money. Yeah. So what the phone companies do is they basically put more data on the same lines. That means the carrying capacity of the line goes down. And it's not unusual at all to see the speeds you're getting. I mean, that's a little low. You should be seeing better than 29. But it's totally dependent on the line quality. Now, sometimes the inside lines aren't very good. Is it an older house?
It's about 24 years old.
That's pretty new. Chances are the lines are okay. Where you get in trouble? I used to have a house where I had, I wasn't getting much. Actually, I was using ISDN and would keep breaking. And I actually finally went through and looked at the lines, and they were spliced here and there. And it was, somebody had decided I'm going to add an extension. And they just cut in the line, use some electrical tape, put another extension. The more you do that, the more noise you're going to add to the lines, and again, the lower the quality. That sound that the modem's making when it's connecting, yeah. That's called training. And what's really happening is the modem is querying the internet service provider, saying, how fast can we go reliably? And it will step down until it finds a reliable speed. It's also saying what protocols do you support and so forth. But basically, it's determining how fast can we go. And based on your line quality, the distance from the central office, things like that, it's decided that the fastest it can go is 29. That's dial-up for you. I guess you can't get high speed, huh?
These say probably 2008, 2009.
Well, that's better than never.
That's right. It seems like you get on there some days and you can watch paint dry faster and get your information.
Well, and it kills me because there's no reason why you should be just because you live in a nice, beautiful part of the country and you don't live right near the big city. There's no reason why you should be disenfranchised. And in effect, you are, because you can't participate in the revolution.
No, we can't. And the government down here is supposed to make the company put a push on to get it out to rural areas pretty quick. But there's only where I live is only about maybe 5 people live down here year round.
See, that's the problem. There's not enough money in it for the companies to do it.
No, that's true.
And unless the government makes them do it, but I think the governments have to, because I often liken it to the rural electrification projects of the 20s and the 30s, where governments said, hey, these people deserve electricity. The electricity should be everywhere, and they made the utilities. In fact, in many cases, at least in the United States, there were actually governmental agencies formed, like the Tennessee Valley Authority, to electrify these rural regions. And I think we need a 21st century rural internet initiative to bring high-speed internet, rural broadband. There are technologies like WiMAX that make it possible wirelessly. Understand that there isn't much incentive for business to do it, so I think the government's going to have to step in and do it. But unfortunately, you're getting about what's normal, Alan, given probably the quality of the lines. You could check with your phone company, see if they get you better lines, but I'm afraid that's probably going to be pretty normal until broadband comes along. You're stuck at 29K. I'm sorry. Hey, it's time for Ryan Yewell. That's why I'm standing next to him. Yewell's Jewels, our free file of the day. Ryan?
Yes, and it's and this is why we call it Yewell's Jewels, because they're not always free files. There's actually a site that you can download files for. It's called Project Gutenberg.
Oh, this is a neat project.
Yeah, it's cool. So essentially, copyright back in the day, the 15, 16, 17, 18, 1900s, eventually copyright runs out and books become public domain.
It's getting farther and farther back. But anything like pre-1927, I think, is in public domain.
And so what this is, it's a collection of, as of April 2007, 21,000 items. Wow. And they're basically books.
Mark Twain.
Well,
Shakespeare.
Exactly. I've got some top ones here. We got Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. We got The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. So you can download them. Some of them are in PDF. Some of them are plain text. Some of them are HTML. I downloaded The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe here as an
Quotes
HTML.
The Raven nevermore. Look at that. They even have a little graphic.
They can download them as zips. I mean, there's just 21,000 items, so there's some really cool works.
It's a neat story here. You know, this is done all by volunteers who take the original texts and type them in. They're not scanning them.
Yeah.
They're typing them in, and then they have editors who go through and make sure there's no typos. If you want to volunteer, you can also go to
Project. You can do a page a day. They say you can you can proofread a page a day, and that helps them out a lot.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Project Gutenberg. What's the address? it's
projectgutenberg.org, I believe. Let me double check that. Gutenberg.org.
Gutenberg.org.
Gutenberg.
Well, we got it right on the screen.
There you go.
Thank you. That's Ryan Yewell and his jewels. And of course, if you can't remember a link or you want to know about past jewels, go to the website.
Yeah, labwithleo.com. We got them all there.
Every one of them. 76 great free files. Thanks, or sites. Thanks to Ryan. Hey, coming up, do you exercise? You know, it's very important to know what your body is doing when you're exercising, your heart rate. Keep a track. I wear a heart rate monitor all the time. Well, boy, I'll tell you, some big strides, so to speak, in heart rate monitors. Kate Abraham will show us the latest when the lab continues. But first, one more chance to take our quiz question of the day. You ready? Here it is. Who wrote the first GUI game? It was called Naughts and Crosses, and it was in 1952. Was it A.S. Douglas, Ada Lovelace, Alan Turing, or William Henry Gates III? Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it when the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we asked you who wrote the first graphical computer game. It was called Naughts and Crosses. It was in 52. That eliminates William Henry Gates II, who was actually wasn't even born yet. Ada Lovelace was long gone. A.S. Douglas, it had to be. Alan Turing had passed on as well, I believe, roughly around then. So there you go. Look at that. That's Kate's watch and stretch at the same time. I hope you got that right. I don't know who A.S. Douglas is, but I guess he was an early programmer. So you exercise a lot, obviously. You wouldn't have that trim figure you have without it.
I used to be a gym bunny. When I lived in Toronto, I was there 5 or 6 days a week.
I love going to the gym.
That's
my new thing.
I haven't been in 6 months.
I have a trainer. I go 3 days a week.
I need somebody to actually
I can lift this table.
I need somebody to be whipping me, making me do it.
That's the best way to do it.
I have no discipline.
But what the trainer said right away, before we even started, he said, there's 2 things I want you to get. One is better clothes. The other is...
Lycra's good in the gym. Lycra looks good.
Yeah, not on me, baby. And the other one, he said baggier clothes is what he said. And the other one is I want you to get a heart rate monitor. He says very important when you're working out to know what your heart rate is. Now, I've been using it now for long enough that I kind of know, but it's still useful. I use it, for instance, when I'm lifting to know when I've calmed down enough to go to the next set and so forth. So this is the latest, greatest in heart rate monitors.
It is from Sunto and Timex.
All right.
And with actual training, what you need to think about...
I use a Polar.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't source one. I tried.
I'm a Polar fan, but I mean, I haven't tried these, so I'm looking.
Yeah, the cool thing is, I mean, obviously, when you're training, the idea is you want to train in zones. So obviously, the higher the zone you train in, the more muscle you're going to build. Obviously, different calories are burnt in different zones.
And you can go too high. Somebody like me, I could kill myself.
Well,
so I have to keep an eye on that.
If you get your heart rate up too high, then it's not good.
When I see it at 190, I say I'm going to sit down now.
I'm hitting a 118 right now, so I'm going to sit down.
118 is not bad.
I've calmed.
You're working. It's I wonder what mine is actually. I'll have to put one on.
But yeah, so literally, I mean, what I'm doing is now I'm really keen to look at how things are with regards to prices, because obviously, you know, you can spend up to like $400 on these things, which is crazy if you don't use it that often. This one here, this is the Timex. It's basically the standard like heart rate monitor.
It's very basic, but it does all you need to do. It has $50. Yes. We should remember that you have to wear this. You're wearing one right now.
With all of them, you have to wear the Corsair.
And this goes right on your heart.
Yeah, it's basically just under your breastbone, and literally you have to wear it tightly, and it has to be touching skin.
Because it's got contacts on here.
You have to make these wet.
You moisten them.
Yes. So
it's little electrodes, basically.
It's not hugely comfortable, I'll be honest with you, because you do have to have it tight in order for it to maintain a regular heartbeat.
Right.
But with this watch, if we just flip it up this way...
It's not going to have a heart... oh, no wonder. I thought it was 8211.
So
I thought that's a strange time.
What you can do is you can just hold for the information, and then what you can see is you can see exactly how... I used this to walk home one day, and you can see the heart rate I had and the
so this is storing your last workout.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows you the activity level you're working within. So with this one, a walk home is basically activity level 1. If you want to if you want to start burning fat and actually starting to tone up muscle, you're looking at like 5 or 6. So the walk home didn't really do much good.
Right.
But yeah, so that one's $50.
Well, that's another good thing. If you're walking or something, to know that you're getting enough exercise.
This one's ideal. If, for instance, like you had to actually look after yourself with regards to like medical conditions.
Right.
That would be ideal.
Or just to know I'm getting enough exercise. Now, the problem is they all are rubber and they're ugly, so this is actually kind of prettier.
Yeah, these come in different colors. This is Sun 2. This is the basic bog standard T1.
I like that.
Now, this one is a very, very standard. The good thing with this one is it actually tells you the calories you're burning as you're using it.
Wow.
Which is really cool. So all you need to do is basically just push here, As you can see, you can, once that gets onto set, you can actually set your different boundaries. So, for instance, your peak heart rate.
So you can say where it's aerobic, anaerobic,
yeah,
too
absolutely.
much.
And then literally it has an activation. So if you go too hard, it will tell you that you need to calm down.
That's really cool.
So there's basically, it's almost like a little trainer, but it's a very simple. It's $99 US.
Is that what you're wearing as a Suntoe there?
Oh yeah, I have the T4.
That's beautiful.
This
I
one
love
here,
that.
This one here is.
That's a cool looking watch.
It is actually. And it does. It's actually a coach as well. It actually has a coach facility.
So it'll say you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, basically, and it has like a logbook as well. So what you can do is you can transfer the information from this watch straight to your computer. So it's actually
via USB.
Via USB, and actually, yeah, it's all wireless. So what you do is actually hold this button down here, and the information stored on the watch is sent straight to your PC.
Oh, that's
PC
neat.
only.
Okay.
But yeah, this one here is the equivalent for Timex. This one is.
So is it Bluetooth? How is it sending it to the? Do you know?
I don't know.
It must
no.
be Bluetooth, right? Or does it have a little USB dongle?
It has a little dongle.
It has
in
a
the
dongle.
back. Yeah.
Okay, so it's wireless.
Yeah.
I get
So
it.
this is the Timex one, which you'd use with this. Once you've installed the software onto your computer, it's just a case of downloading
this. This is Iron Man. This is their higher end.
Yeah, this one is basically if you're looking to train heavily, if you're doing endurance, it's very high end. I think it's about $100, but you have to buy one of these separately.
Does it come with a strap?
No, it doesn't. This is $55
So
US.
you're basically $155 for the two.
Absolutely. But back to this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one I'm actually wearing right now, I'm actually programming straight through to my computer here.
Oh, look!
Which we will source.
Oh, wait a minute. There's the graph of how you're doing.
And the good thing is this has two options. You can actually download the information that you do when you're out running, say, from the watch straight to your computer, or you can actually take a laptop.
So let's do some running and get your heart rate up. Come on, let's get your heart rate up. That's really cool.
But the cool thing is with this, then you have that option, or you can actually do the option of taking your laptop to the gym with you. You have to
and having it do,
and you can actually watch yourself, and you can actually plug 3 different people into this.
That
so you
is
could actually
really
check
neat.
out against
See,
people.
my trainer should get that, and then they can have the laptop there, and they'd have a whole graph. That's fantastic.
So there we go. So
and what does this little one do?
This is the equivalent of Timex. So basically, Timex is the version of this.
Okay, but that's the Suntoe.
I couldn't wear everything. Otherwise, I would just be like,
wow.
But yes.
Now I'm excited. I think I love that graph.
But this is basic training. It's almost like having a coach training with you. It's great. It's a really good idea.
And the Suntoe is how much?
This one is about $150.
Okay, so this is, unless you're getting the least expensive Timex, they're all around that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's definitely something which there's so many buttons. After a while, it's kind of confusing when they all seem to merge into one. But once you get the hang of it, and you actually
No, it's good. Yeah, you should keep that and keep using that.
Yeah, I think I would love it if it had a sensor actually in the watch.
Then you wouldn't have to.
I wouldn't have to wear this.
I agree. That's coming. I think some of the new Polars don't have the straps anymore. Hey, we're out of time. Thank you for doing all that work. We know exactly how much work she did. We have a graph. We'll be back with final words and a final look at the graph right after this. Stay right here. Okay, I want you to do jumping jacks.
Okay.
Hup, 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 hup,
come on, jump in.
Come on, get it up, get it up, get it up. You know, a lot of the equipment in the gym now will sense these and recognize them. And if you're in a gym, you should make sure that you get a brand that the equipment, the treadmill or the Stairmaster recognizes.
Absolutely.
Because that's great too. Because then you don't need to look at the watch. You can just know.
Yeah,
you still never need to wear the strap. Kate is not enjoying the strap.
Kate is sitting very, very uncomfortably.
We're glad you were here. We're so glad you were here. Please come back. If you want to be on the show, all you got to do is go to the website labwithleo.com and fill out the form. We'll get you in.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, it's been fun, hasn't it? It's crazy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on The Lab.